So this is the card, the Heirophant. It is card number 5 in the major arcana. So if we look at this card, what do we see?
A man that is on a throne, and he's wearing a crown.
Is the man old or young?
Old. He's holding a staff.
So this card is called the Heirophant, but if we look at the kids deck that we have, they don't call it the Heirophant. What do they call it?
They call it the rules.
The rules. And that's because this card is about established rules, traditions, and beliefs. So today we have not just Rowan, but her Auntie Huda is here too. Auntie Huda, where are you from?
I'm actually from Sudan. Sudan is located in East Africa, and I am from the western part of Sudan called Darfur.
The first meaning of this card is about ancestral wisdom. Why don't you tell us, Auntie Huda, what is an ancestor?
So for me, an ancestor is someone you are related to, that's connected to your family or your community, that is older than you. They can be your grandparents or even older than that, going back hundreds of years. It's someone where you can trace your history, your culture, and your heritage back to.
So this card is about the wisdom that we get from our ancestors. Rowan, can you think of some wisdom that you got from your grandparents or great-grandparents? Some idea of a good way to live or a good way to think that comes from the people who were alive before you?
Thinking about problems.
What is the advice about a way to think about your problems?
Write it down.
How is that helpful?
So that if you have that problem again, you can find a way to solve it.
That's great. Auntie Huda, can you think of wisdom that maybe was passed to you from your ancestors?
Yes. My grandmother's always told me if you have a problem and it becomes too big and you're unable to solve it, you can always ask for help. And that's where family and your parents and friends and community come in, where they can also help you in solving your problem. You're not alone and you can always ask for help.
Oh, I love that. This card also reminds us that just because we get ideas from the people who came before us, it doesn't mean that those ideas are always good ideas. Sometimes ideas that come from our community are no longer useful or relevant because ideas have changed. So, Rowan, can you give me an example of maybe some ancestral wisdom or some ideas that were held by your grandparents or great-grandparents that maybe aren't fitting into society or your community anymore?
Yeah. When my grandparents say thank you, I usually say no problem, and they want me to say you're welcome.
Right, and when you say no problem, you mean the same thing. Your intention is the same, but Grammy and Grampy prefer you to use different words that they feel more comfortable with. Okay, so Auntie Huda, can you give us an example of maybe something that your ancestors, your grandparents or your great-grandparents felt that maybe is changing now and that wisdom isn't actually fitting anymore?
So my ancestors had many practices to do with the human body and the understanding of beauty, and that were sometimes very harmful to the body. Now, the younger generation are stepping away from that and embracing their own natural beauty, and they are deciding on what standard of beauty means to them.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, I think we can all learn to embrace the natural beauty that we have. The second meaning of the card, the Heirophant, is about the rules of a group or an institution. Auntie Huda, what is an institution?
So an institution is a group of people who have a common goal and purpose.
So, Rowan, can you think of an institution that you are a part of?
Yes, school.
So this card is about the rules of that institution. So are there rules at school?
Yes.
Why?
So that everyone's safe and not inappropriate.
Right, we want everyone making choices that help to achieve the goal of the institution. So what is the goal of school?
Learning.
And what are things that are against the rules that would maybe make it hard to learn?
Running around, not listening to the teacher.
So the interesting thing about an institution is that over time, the people associated with that group can change. Right? We don't have the same kids at school in kindergarten as we have in the time that you are graduating from high school. Every year, some kids leave school and some kids join school, right?
Yeah.
That means that sometimes the rules should change. How do we know which rules should stay stable and which rules should change?
I think rules that promote equality between people and no discrimination should always remain. And any rules that divide people, cause injustice to other people, should be changed. An example of an institution where I come from is my tribe. For a long time, girls or women were not encouraged to go to school. But now many girls are challenging those rules and choosing to get an education and go to school.
I love that you pointed out that your tribe is an institution because actually so is a country. Rowan, where are you from?
Korea.
You were born in Korea, but now you live where?
In the U.S.
Yeah, you live in the United States. And in the United States, were there rules in the past that were similar to what Auntie Huda was talking about, that they were unfair and those rules have changed?
Slavery.
What is slavery?
Owning people.
Yeah, that used to be something that was legal. And is that kind or fair?
No.
But then they changed the law. It's not legal anymore. So just because the people in the past thought that something was okay doesn't mean that it's okay now, or even that it was okay then. All right, well, that is our card, the Hierophant. So thank you for joining us for our outside conversation today in Auntie Huda's backyard in Marseille, France.
Thank you,
Yay!
everyone. Please be kind and respectful of each other.
I love you.
Love you too.
We love you too, Auntie Huda.
Thank you. I love you guys as well.